Hi friends, David here from Above AVL, and in this video we're going to show you how to do lighting for a small to medium-sized gigging band. So what we're going to do here is we've got a pile of fixtures all around us here, and we're going to set them up on our rig here in our studio. This is slightly compressed. It's a smaller stage. It might be the size of the stage that some of you play, but it also might be a little bit smaller, a little bit more compressed, and so these concepts can grow bigger. The other cool thing we're going to do, so we can teach you, as we love to do here at Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting, is we're going to use both mini moving heads, really small ones. These ones are from Colorkey. Really awesome fixtures. Really, we can't say enough about them. They just kick the butt out of anything that's cheaper or elsewhere. Always reach out for a quote. But we're going to have some mini moving heads from Colorkey. We're going to have some of their mid-size moving heads. So we've got like their Beam 100, their mover beam 100s right here. They come in a nice 2-pack with the carry case. We've also got under here mover beam 150s in their rolling carrying case. And these are both like great options for a mid-size gigging band. And so we're going to unbox them, clamp them up, set them up, show you some different ways that you could mix rigs together, that you could make things work to make it really cool. And then at the end, we're going to punt and we're going to set up an audio system and show you an audio system for a small band or singer-songwriter or something like that. Show you how we might set that up. So let's dive in. Okay, so the first thing we've got to figure out is layout. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this rig up in a way that's flexible so that you could have different types of fixtures, just to kind of show you, hey, if we did it with all small fixtures, if we did it a mix, if we did it with all big fixtures, we're going to see some different looks here, some different abilities for that. So starting off for the front light, we've got a flex stand right here. You probably, oh, it's out of shot on both cameras. Awesome. So this is a flex stand from Chave DJ. There's a lot of other small stands on the market. We could have also used, and we are going to use behind us, our Colorkey LS8s. These ones are all the way on the shortest height, but they go up to 8 feet. You can put a fixture on top of them. You can put a speaker on top of them. It can be really an awesome choice. Plus, they light up. We'll get to that too. In terms of fixtures, in the front, we're going to put a Colorkey Wash Hex 12. And by the way, this isn't sponsored. We're just, as a dealer, showing you products that are great for this kind of thing. But always reach out for a quote at gear@aboveavl.com. So we're going to put that in the front. We're also going to put in the front some of our own fixtures. So you might not be familiar with these, but these are our Dominar Par N for nano. And these are actually a waterproof par, but it has included cables, which is really cool. And so we're going to use that also as a front light. So we have a moving front light, we have a stationary front light, both great options. For the sake of this space and just the camera angle coming from the side here that we'll switch to from time to time. Thank you, JP, for that. We are going to not put a stand over here. We're just going to do one side of front light, though normally you would do two and they'd match. Got that going on, okay? Then we're going to, like most band gigs, I'm going to pump some haze in the room and put the majority of our fixtures behind the band. We'll show you how it looks with haze and without haze so you can see the kind of things that you can do in either situation. So for that, we've got these Colorkey Mini Wash Quad 4s. I've got 4 of those guys, and they're going to hang across the back here, I believe. Then we've got the Colorkey Halo Beam today. So we're going to do the Halo Beams, and I think I'm going to do 4 of those, also just spaced out with the washes. And then at the bottom of my stack, we have the road case for the Colorkey Mover Spot 150s. And this thing is so stinking cool. I got to show you guys this. So for about the price of these 2 mover spots, just a little bit more, you actually get a full road case. See right there, that has the 2 fixtures in it, has space for the cables, really nice setup, especially if you're gigging, if you're doing DJ stuff, small production company, stuff like that. This can be a really great option. Okay, back to the front to the back. So what I'm going to do is the next segment, we're going to fast forward through a lot of stuff, and I'm going to do the basic layout of the rig, kind of explain some of my choices. So we'll fast forward through that. We'll show you the basic layout, then we'll get it wired and powered up, fired up, patched into our console, show you the basics, just a quick brief overview of all that stuff, and then we're gonna turn stuff on. Show you some different examples of, hey, if you use this many of these and this many of those, this is how it would look. If you use just these, this is how it would look. And show you some options that you have with lighting a smaller band to create a really big impact on stage, create an awesome light show that goes perfect with your music. So let's go clamp it up. All right, so now I've got everybody clamped up and I want to lay out the rig. So for the most part, again, I've got my Colorkey Wash Hex 12 right here, straighten that out a little. I've got a Dominar Par S, this is kind of a secondary front light, really great little par, lovely fixture. And then over on the rig here, I've got 4 of the Colorkey mini washes, the Mover Mini Wash Quad 4 Mark II. And I've got 2 in their awesome carry bag of the Beam 100s. By the way, if you buy it with the carry bag's like pretty much free. So highly recommended. Always request a quote. And then we've got the Beam, the mini beams, which are the Mover Halo Beam Quad Mark II. And so I'm gonna go up on the truss with the mini movers. I'm gonna keep the bigger ones on the ground. And then we'll kind of walk through some of the differences and be able to see that once we get it patched into our console, which today will be a WMX1 Mark II by ADJ. Great little console. Not perfect for everybody, but for people that are running stuff on the fly or maybe doing a small amount of MIDI triggers, it's a really great option. So I'm going to go ahead and start hanging these. As goes in rock and roll, we're just going to go wash beam, wash beam, wash beam. Do it every other on a mirrored setup. Being that we're in a really small space, this is a 6-foot piece of truss, will work for small stages like that. For mini movers like this, you can usually get away with those little mini truss kits, and we've got them at aboveavl.com. We can package them together with lights for you. They can be a really great option, but this is just 6 feet, so the great thing about it is, hey, if you're going bigger, you can either space the fixtures a little further apart, add a little more, ask us for a recommendation. We'll have to help. So we did one mini wash, so now we'll do his friend on the other side. All right, so due to the way that the the apexes and the truss sit on this piece of truss, it looks like we're gonna do 3 of the beams, 4 of the washes, really nice, 2 of the spots. And then last I've got these Colorkey Beam 100s, 2 of them in this bag. And we're gonna go ahead real quick, unpack them. From their bag, pop them down right here on this case. A road case is always a great place to be able to put some fixtures. I know it's a hair dark in exposure, but it'll get better once we turn all the fixtures on. Road case can be a great place to put fixtures. Also risers, and if you don't have risers, we've got this great product called MyStage, which is a really great portable, lightweight riser that's really sturdy. You can put multiple together, like you could do 3 or 4 as a drum riser, all the way up to doing small stages. Really cool, definitely check those out. But we're just gonna pop these on top of the case from the Mover Spot 150s, and then cables are to the side. Awesome. So now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cable everything up and then get this rig rocking. So we did our beams, then we've got 2 of our Dominar Par S's, just little tiny pars that are gonna go in the truss uprights. And then we have our ADJ WMX1 console. And we have one of these Magma cases. If you need a case for WMX1 or you're getting a WMX1 for portable use, These little cases are awesome. They're inexpensive, they fit perfectly, and we've got them in stock. So definitely check those out as well. And so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get this all cabled up, safety cables on everybody who's hanging, and be ready to rock and roll here in a few minutes. But of course, we'll fast forward through this part. It's worth noting as well, for pretty much any clamp, any bolt, these little lighting wrenches that we have, the Black Shadow mini lighting wrenches, are awesome. If you do a lot of setups and teardowns, highly recommended. Awesome. So now we're going to cable it up. So we'll be coming out of our console with the DMX 3-pin. Everything's 3-pin on this rig. Our Dominar Par S's here in our front light, and also at our totems here, they have waterproof DMX adapters to 3-pin, so we're good there. It is a waterproof fixture. And they can link together, which is super nice as well. So we're going to wire it all up, and then we can fire it up, address everything, patch it into our console, and then we get to look at stuff and have some real fun. All right, now we've got the basics set up. We just got to go ahead, grab DMX to our last fixture. One of them keeps going into auto mode because it doesn't have DMX, which means it's just going to be firing off everybody else till we get that settled. So now what I'm going to do is plug in the last DMX cable, pop that in, get that over to our console, our WMX. And then I'm just going to, for the sake of ease, because we've got stuff everywhere, just stack up a couple of the old yellow plastic bins as a console stand. Get ourselves some power. We'll get our camera zoomed in, and then once we have active DMX, we should be able to keep this guy right here from going into sound active mode. And then we can get some programming done. All right, now that we've got all our lights set up, clearly they're getting all sorts of DMX, we're going to start programming here on our WMX1. So I'm going to go to the cog. I'm going to create a new show. So projects, new. You should save your old project first. I didn't. And then, 0 DMX. So now the lights are no longer freaking out. We can start patching them in so we can make them freak out again. If you don't have your fixtures in your console already, you can download them using the WTools app, which I may have to do a break and do here because honestly, I don't know if all the fixtures are in the console by default, but they're definitely going to be in the online database. If not, you can request them, and they do make them very quickly. Hit the moving head at the top, plus new fixture. So color key. Yeah, we don't have everything in here. So we've got our mover spot 150. We're going to change our amount to 2. Make that group B. We're going to go ahead and add in our mover wash hex 12. We got one of those. Going to put it in mode 3, group A. Then we've got our first Dominar Par right here, which I've got to go look up the DMX spec on. All right, so we'll be right back. We're going to go get the rest of the profiles here into the console. So X out a fixture setup, let it save, connect it to our computer, and then I'll be right back and we'll get that finished. All right, so back into patch. Again, getting them all from the computer into your WMX should be something you did at home long before the gig or the setup. So we'll add some more fixtures. And so now I've got so far I've patched my mover spot 150s and my mover wash hex 12. So next I'm going to do my mover beam 100s. Got 2 of those right now. Great 2-pack with the case. Do them in the higher channel mode, group C. Then we'll go ahead and add in 4th group. Let's do that. Let's see. gonna do one of my Dominar Pars. So I found a profile that matched instead of requesting it. Under beams and LCB something something something. Gonna do that. Stick that in group A. And then I'm gonna go ahead and patch my other two as group D. And then I'm gonna patch my mini movers on the second half of the groups. So we go back to Colorkey. We've got our mini wash quads, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty much always choosing the higher channel modes. So that's E. Just gonna go with group F actually, just for how it lines up on the console. Then we've got the mover halo beam quad Mark IIs. Did 3 of those because that's what fit in our rig today. Go with the higher channel mode, G. And now we're patched. So now we're gonna run around going off the patch that we see on the screen of our WMX1 console. And we're gonna enter all those. Nice and easy. So that one's actually good. This one should patch to 16. Awesome. Then we've got our wash hex 12 at 31. Our halo quads, let's see, 163, 179, 195. These guys are all getting a DMX signal that's causing them to reset. So we're just going to unplug DMX because they're set at 1, and whatever is being sent to the first fixture is causing them to reset. So then once they finish, we'll go 163, 179, 195. All right, and now we're talking. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn off the video lighting, be just the rig itself, just me programming it. So we're going to go to exit out of patch on the WMX here. Get a little bit of haze going in the room here. We're using the Elation Magma Prime. We love those things. Yes, there are cheaper hazers on the market. You do get what you pay for. The cheap ones tend to break no matter what brand it's from. The Magma Prime is the one that we found that's like the smallest, lowest end hazer that also really kicks butt and literally almost never breaks. That being said, there are cheaper hazers, like the ADJ phasers are a good one as well too. We'll get that heated up and started going. But while we do that, we're going to look at this lighting rig a little bit, look at how it can look without haze, and then show you how it looks with haze, because both are great options for a small band. And so here we are in a dark music venue working with this lighting rig as a programmer. So how do things, what works and what doesn't? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn off everything to give you an idea of what's going on. So we've got everybody turned off here. And so the way I kind of designed this is first we've got our front light. Okay. And so we'll go ahead here and give that a color. And you can see between both this little Dominar Par S, which is actually highlighting the console area, and sorry about that, getting the console out of view here. There we go. And this mover mini wash, you really get a lot of light that really lights up the space well. Let's go ahead and point the mover a little bit. We're just gonna adjust our position here. And so the cool thing about doing a mover for front light in a band situation like this is you can be here, you can highlight, any of the band members. We'll see that from the front camera, probably along with my bald spot. At different times you can highlight. You can go and swing to the dance floor and build a preset there, and cover the dance floor. And, you just can generally get, a cool vibe out of it, right? Whether you're pointing at the dance floor, pointed at the band, which is where we're going to go back, any point you can go and you can pop it, into an effect and have it moving around, have it dancing, have it doing a little more than just a par. That being said, these little Dominar Par S's are also great just for, lighting people, generally giving some nice light, a few of those, nice and small, compact, fanless, easy to use. Both can be great. Okay, so that's our front light. Depending on, how bright the space is, how much stuff is in the room, you may or may not use a lot of that. Okay, so we'll just turn that down a little here. Now we've got our spots. So these are our mover spots from Colorkey, and they are fantastic. And so what you can see is we've got some different pre-built presets in the WMX. They don't make a lot of sense right now. But if we just go ahead and edit one, what we're able to do with these in the case of a band lighting is, one, you see here, I can use them on the backdrop. And though it doesn't look too exciting, we can also point them at the band or at the ceiling in the haze, and it'll look pretty decent. There we go. Now I found where they're at. So we've got them right here. Obviously, this is like a blinder look. We can point them down kind of as a backlight thing. We can point them up at the ceiling, which can always look nice. The biggest thing when you're using a spot fixture in a small space like this is you probably are going to want to go, whether you're on the ceiling or we'll go back to the walls for this example. And we can fan them across the walls here. Stick them at the end of pan. I don't know why they're being so funky, but regardless, I can use something like this, as ugly as this may currently be, and pull in some things without haze, like the prisms. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then you can pop in a gobo. Then I'm just going to go to a live edit on these and pull in a prism. And now I can start to do some patterns and stuff like that on the back wall, maybe have them move nice and slow like that. You can do stuff with the spot fixture without haze, which, speak of the devil, there it shows up. So we'll get just a little bit of haze in the room, but I'm not quite done with my no haze part of the video yet. And so, the difference between haze and no haze, obviously, is can you see the beam shooting out of the fixture? Because now we've put some haze in the air, we can go ahead back over here and move these guys. And you can see, wow, even with just a tiny bit of haze, I mean, that Magma Prime in this space ran for like 10 seconds there. This is where you get some really interesting looks, right? Where you've got the light shooting through the haze out in the air, looking really cool, really awesome within the rig. Let's go ahead and look to our next fixture. Got those guys up in the air. Looks pretty cool with like a little bit of haze. Will look better with a bunch of haze. So next we've got our beams. So beam fixtures, I'm going to tell you, are not all that exciting without at least a little something in the atmosphere. That is just the short and the long of it. And so, for example, if we take them, even with just a little bit of haze or dust in the room, they start to really pop through the air, and you can see that here. And then as you bring them forward, there's a lot they can do. Sure, beams don't do a lot without haze, but once you get that haze in the room, we're able to move them between different positions, get movements, of course, and get different colors. And so by the time you go ahead and have them colored, have them changing position during a show, have them moving, they could do some really neat stuff. And as I mentioned, if we go ahead and do a live edit here on the WMX, bring in the prism, we get a really awesome spread out of those and really great through the air effect. Again, beam fixtures are going to be often your cheapest buy in terms of type of fixtures. They're not going to color mix, but even with just a little bit of atmosphere in the air, they really punch through and do a lot. I mean, these are outshining the spot 150s in terms of beam through the air. So if you're going for a beam through the air, that's why you want a beam fixture. That's what it does well. Okay, so we'll save that. Next, we've got our truss uprights. So those just look awesome, give you another something to paint with. You're able to go change the color throughout the show, whatever you want, or kick them on, kick them off. Now let's go ahead and look at our mini moving head rig. So our mini moving head rig is going to be, we'll keep on our front light. It's going to be on second half here. Now let's go ahead and take our washes and our beams, and we're going to move them. Joke, one of them I think is inverted. So it's always a good time to get stuff like that taken care of. Just going into the menu. And this is dangerous because I'm doing it without looking at the manual. But we figured it out. And so you can see a mini wash fixture like this can actually really do a pretty good amount on a stage. It can really light up some musicians well. And with haze, it looks even better. Let's go ahead and look at our little mini beams. And so they also, go ahead and point them here. They also, without haze, look all right. You've got some light in the air, looks interesting, and, is not a bad little rig. Comparatively, though, we'll go ahead and compare it to our bigger movers. And, in terms of brightness in the room, I know it's hard to see over on camera one. I'll bring those guys up too. Mini movers are going to be a little bit less punchy than the big guys, but especially with the spots and beams, you still get a lot out of them. Let's go ahead and bring some haze in the room and see how that impacts this rig. And so you can see already with the whole rig view, I mean, that's literally 10 seconds of haze, and we'll let it settle here a little. But that's going to make a really big difference in terms of punch. In fact, we'll switch over to the first camera and just take a look at the rig here. So what you can see, if I light myself here, what you're going to see is, some of the differences between like the mini moving heads and the bigger guys. Both can be great for a small band rig. And I think this kind of shows you, like, these mover beam 100s have a lot more punch than these little guys, and they have more features, right? 2 of these outshines 3 of these other ones that are cheaper, right? So sometimes you go, okay, I want to set up a few lights. I want to make a big impact with them. Other times you go, hey, I want to have a lot of lights moving around, creating a vibe. I might go with a lot of mini moving heads and have them moving. The truth is, there isn't always a answer A or B as to which one is going to be best for you. Both can be really great options. You can see smaller, darker stages, these mini moving heads can work well. As you start to get a little bit brighter, though, you'll notice that, they don't have the punch, the impact that you might be looking for. And that's when you want to step up to something a little bigger, either, for kind of small to mid-size-ish stages. These Colorkey mover spots and mover washes are a really great, or mover wash spot and beam are a really great option. We have a lot of other great options as well. But hopefully just the process of putting this rig together in this video has inspired you to do the same thing with whatever you like, whether it's a band, a church, DJ, theater, etc. If you're looking to put together a lighting rig and you need help, that's what we do all day long. Feel free to send us pictures of your space, etc. And we can go, hey, you know what? These fixtures are going to be really good. Maybe we'll do, and you can tell us, hey, maybe you'd prefer a lot of little fixtures or a handful of larger fixtures. If you're setting things up again and again for gigs, you probably want to do a handful of larger fixtures because it's less stuff to set up. But either way, we'd love to help you. And I hope this video has shown you how some simple stuff like our Dominar Pars, some of our Colorkey fixtures put together in a small to mid-sized space can create what you see here, a really nice looking lighting setup that doesn't have to break the bank and can be set up and controlled with a simple console like the WMX1 or software like Lightkey or DMX's, or sorry, my DMX, and can really be put together in a short amount of time. So if you liked this video, then you'll love AboveAVL.com. In the US, we can help you get the stuff you need, get it quoted out to you at your personalized price, and then be there for you for the decades to come when you need more stuff, different stuff, whatever you're looking for. We're here to help. We also have audio. So check out all of our channels, check out all the links to the products we mentioned in this video, everything below. And then we'll definitely see you in the next video. Hop down to that. That's going to be the very top link below, because we're going to set up an audio system. That's right. On top of this stand here, we have space for a speaker. We're going to pop some other stuff over here, a mixer. We're going to hook together the basics to show you how you can put together a pretty simple rig for a band that's really going to rock over on MyStage Audio. So don't miss that. You definitely want to check that out. We'll see you there. Thanks.